Hello, bestie boos. Hello. Welcome to a new video. A video that is quite important, unfortunately, at the moment. And we are in dire need of fixing some things. And by we, I just mean me, but saying we, takes a little bit of the burden off. So, we have just started the day. Oh my gosh, I need to fix my hair. Lord knows you do not need to see me with the side part. Unless you knew me in middle school, then you've already seen it. Anywho, I am in dire... Am I counting these right? That's 2, right? Oh my gosh, you guys. I sometimes forget how little my brain is really like working in the morning until I'm trying to do something like this. Okay. And an extra scoop for the pot. All right, there we go. If you saw my last vlog, I picked up this coffee. So far, so good. I don't know if it's like the best for French press, to be honest. I'm a little worried that something else would be better, but it's getting the job done, and that's like, what we need. That's where we are with it. So, basically, you guys have read the title. You know why we're here. We are trying to catch up on my Goodreads goal. Now, I might need a cup of coffee before we go and look at the evidence of how far behind I truly am as of now. What can I really say, right? Let's finish this coffee so that, it won't be such a blow to the ego when we look at the situation. Exactly. Okay, besties, it's time to share the grave news of my book goal and where we stand with it. So, let's quit avoiding the inevitable and see how many books behind we are. We've read 47 this year out of 80. So if you're quick at math, I'll give you a moment. It's true. We are 9 books behind. We are 9 books behind. I just don't know that I've ever been this far behind on a reading goal. It's kind of shocking. I'm used to being like 1 or 2 books ahead or 1 or 2 books behind, kind of in that medium zone, but 9 books behind. It's not a good look. It's a tough look. So let's take a minute to go through our strategy here and how we are going to pull ourselves out of this deep hole that I've been digging. So, first off, I'm gonna give myself a week to work really hard on catching up and then hope the rest comes naturally. If you feel me, if you're here with me. First off, let's talk about the books that I am in the middle of, have already started, but haven't gone anywhere with. I feel like that's a good place to start, and then we can kind of get an idea of how many books realistically I could finish this week. So, pulling out the old iPad. I'm listening to Reckless. I have been for like 5,000 years. Separate conversation needs to be had there, but I think I am about 55% of the way through that book. I was reading When Among Crows. I'm honestly gonna say I'm like 80%. I'll just put 80%, but I was like a millisecond from being done and I missed it. Keeping 13 is my like physical book right now. And as you can see, I have under 100 pages. So I'm gonna say like 95% done there. And then last night I started 2 books because I realized I was so close to being done with Keeping 13 that I need something else. I started The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson, and I'm already 25% of the way through that, and it's cooking. Like, I'm having a good time. It stands out from what I've been reading lately, so that has helped, and I am like on the hook for that one. And then Slaying the Vampire Conqueror was the other one I started last night, and I only got 9% into that. So those are our current numbers, and I think these are the books I'm going to focus on. That's 5, and then I think I'm going to pick up a graphic novel. I need to go choose which one, because I have quite a few for like the fall spooky season that I want to read. So I might as well also pick up a graphic novel to help with numbers, but also it's something I want to read anyways. If I was able to read all of these in this week, that would put us at 6 books. So I'd only be 3 books down. And I feel like that is a great place to be, at least compared to where I am right now. I'm gonna get into the reading. I'm gonna keep reading The Weight of Blood and hopefully give you maybe a 50% update. Most of this vlog will be me talking about the books, giving you updates. We're gonna get to check them off our list, and hopefully reach my goal of catching up on my Goodreads. So, without further ado, let's get to reading. Okay, girly pops. It is time for an update. Let's click over into the Kindle. Let's see where we're at. So I'm at 65% of the way through The Weight of Blood. I've been eating this one up. I don't know if it's just like, it's so easy to read. I'm so sucked into the story and the narrative here. And basically it's told from the perspective of like when this big event happened in 2014. And then the other time frame is like more current, and it's through the lens of like a radio show / podcast where they're trying to figure out what actually happened all those years ago. I'm eating it up. There are really important conversations in here about racism and just different perspectives of like the racism in this town and how it impacts all these different people, and how like being able to film and capture things changes like these microaggressions to being taken more seriously. So it's just very interesting. There is a bit of like, I would say like a magical realism element, where one character has powers. And I know some people don't always like that, but I feel like it's working well in the story. It still feels like a modern day type of story. But anyway, 65% through that. So I think I have like 2 hours is what my Kindle said I had left on it. So we'll see how I do this evening. As far as Slaying the Vampire Conqueror goes, 15% of the way through that. And I have not picked up Keeping 13 yet because I want to finish it tonight in bed because it's kind of like my right before bed story. So I'm doing okay. Not a lot has happened in Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. It's kind of just setting the scene for us. We've met our characters. We're getting kind of an idea of who our main character is and what she believes, her morals and such. We're just on the cusp of things happening there. So we're doing a lot of world building, but reading is going well today. And now it is time for Pilates, so I gotta get going. But reading is going well. And I will check in with you tomorrow morning and I will give you all the updates on the books, and hopefully I'll have a lot of updates. So thanks for being here, Queens. More to come. More to come. Good morning, girly whirlies. It is time for an update. Honestly, good updates ahead, truly. We're in a good place with the reading. I also randomly decided to do my hair. That's my business. I don't know why I am, but you know, it's been a good morning. Honestly, before we get into the recaps, telling you about my day now that you asked. But I'm telling you, it's been like a crazy, beautiful morning. I went to Pilates and I was the only one who showed up for class today. So I got a private session, which was intimidating, but it also ended up being like amazing because it gets to be, because then your class is like very much curated to you. So I thought that was sick. Had a lovely time. I'm gonna feel it. oh boy, am I gonna feel it. But it was great. And then I went to the local coffee shop and I had a free beverageino. Today is already off to a beautiful, beautiful start. Last time I checked in was genuinely on the first day before Pilates. So I forgot to check in yesterday. It was the second day of reading. That is directly on me. What can you do? So yesterday I just wasn't really feeling myself, so it's on me. I forgot to update, but I did read a lot. So I still haven't finished Keeping 13. Don't talk to me about it. I know I only have like 10% left probably. I don't want it to end. I know there are more books in the series, but like they aren't about just Shannon and Johnny, and that's what I care about right now. So I'm putting it off. I will finish it this week, but I'm trying to live in bliss where it's like, it's not over. You know, I don't know. Do you guys do that with books? Because I most definitely do. As far as The Weight of Blood goes, I have not read any more of it. I'm still at 65%. Yesterday, for some reason, I was itching to dig into Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. And we ended up getting to around like 62%. So like I was steamrolling because I think last time I updated you I was 15% of the way in. So let's talk about it. Let's get down to business with it. A lot has happened. Basically, our main character is part of a cult-like society that worships a goddess, and like she sacrificed things. I don't know if I've already said this, so forgive me. She's sacrificed different things in her life to become mystical, almost like to be spiritually gifted. Basically, she's given the task of slaying this guy who is a vampire, and he is conquering all these human lands. That's her target. And so she's to get close to him to try to kind of win his trust so that he is easy to kill. Basically, things are not going as planned because she's starting to see like he's not such a bad guy. I don't want to like do spoilery information, but really all that to say, it's making her task difficult seeing what type of person he is. It has been interesting. It's been good. I actually think like the main character is done really well. Like I like her backstory. I like the magic of like the goddess that she worships basically. So I'm really enjoying that. We will see how it goes, because sometimes like fantasy in the last like 40%, like that's when we're gonna see how this is gonna end, you know what I mean? So obviously I'll keep updating you on that, but so far, yeah, it's been well worth the read. I feel like I've read a lot of romantasy as of late that feels not super thought out, which does bug me personally sometimes, because it's like, of course the forefront for me is the romance and the two characters being together, but I want the plot to also be interesting, right? I'm very excited to keep reading here today. I don't know if I'm gonna have quite as much time to read, so we'll just do the best that we can. But I'm feeling good about the goal. I definitely need to pick up one of the books at the library, I think, because basically I think I already told you I was listening to When Crows, and my my audiobook was due, so I couldn't finish it even though I had like an hour left, so I might go and check out just the physical book to finish it. We will see if that ends up, being viable, but I also need to choose a graphic novel to read, so there's still plenty on my plate, basically, is all we're saying here. There's plenty to get done. But for now, I'm just gonna get ready for the day and hopefully check in with you this evening. I wonder if I should just finish Keeping 13. Does anyone else get like this? Like, am I crazy? Because I just like, I feel like I'll just feel so depressed once I'm done. But all good things come to an end, so I guess we'll see what I have to do. I've decided to do the responsible thing and just go ahead and listen to Reckless while I get ready today. So we gotta gain some traction, y'all. So I'm gonna throw it on right when I stop recording. I'm just gonna throw it on. I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna power through. Bestie dears, I've come to you on day 4 to give you reports from day 3 and to establish a plan for the next few days. Because, hold on, let me get my caffeine actually. Holy smokes. Okay. Besties, here's the situation at hand. We are on day 4 of this challenge and we have not finished a book. That's not good news, right? That's not good news. That's not what we're hoping for. But it is the truth of the matter. So, I'm gonna give you the stats from day 3 and we are gonna game plan for today, day 4. So, I actually picked up Reckless. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I actually picked it up. Listened to a good amount of it yesterday because I was at 55 before. I'm at 87% done. Got a lot of thoughts on it. And none of them good. So sorry to those who love it. But we are almost there. We just have to get that final push. I also continue to read The Weight of Blood. I'm at 79%, y'all. 79. And then Slaying the Vampire Conqueror, 75. So we are close to the end on a lot of books. Also, like I said before, I'm just gonna give you the old stats again. But Keeping 13, I'm 85% done. When Among Crows, 80%. Y'all, why? I think we need to unpack maybe my mental state and why I can't finish a book. I think that's the biggest concern I currently have. Because what the heck am I doing? But I swear so many books as of late, and I don't know if this is just me, like I don't know if this is universal. Once you get to that 65% mark, I'm not interested anymore. 65 to 70%, you've lost me, you've done something wrong, I'm over it, I'm ready to pack up and leave and DNF. But I've worked so hard to get to that point, I need to finish these books. So, bringing that all around to today's game plan. Today, we are gonna finish 3 books. It's so doable, we are so close. We're gonna finish 3. I'm thinking Reckless because I wanna get out of the way. I'm thinking Keeping 13, even though that's gonna shatter my heart. And then I believe probably The Weight of Blood because that's the only one that's actually feeling any sense of interesting right now. So we'll finish those 3 and then we'll plan on working on other 2 tomorrow and hopefully getting close or finishing both of those tomorrow. So 3 books, 1 big cup of coffee. I feel like I can do this. We can do this. You can hold me accountable. We're gonna finish these books today. That's it. There's nothing else to it. No exceptions. Okay. Let's get on with it. Let's do it. Hi friends. I have grave news.
Sorry. Grace is filming something.
Come over here. Come talk to the bestie boos. Brennan is going to take responsibility for his actions. I had planned to finish 3 books today, and I'm going to be honest with you, I finished 1. I finished The Weight of Blood. I'm still collecting myself and how I feel about my rating, so I'll give my rating a little bit later. But Brennan has something to say for himself because it's a Friday night and he came home and he decided to make us cocktails. Brennan, what do you have to say for yourself?
I take full accountability for making Grace 1 martini that sent her over the edge.
Yep.
And that's all.
Okay, that's fine. No, that's fine. I only finished 1 book today and I told you I'd finished 3. I'm fake. What can I say? I do feel like I'm a rat at the moment. But here's how I'm going to deal with the fact that I can't keep to my promises to myself. We're going to play a little Fortnite. We're going to play a little Fall Guys. And I'm just going to be okay with the fact that I'm a disappointment to me and my fan base. So honestly, cheers to you and yours. I will finish these books and I will finish them in this video. So let's all be chill. Let's have a good Friday night. And I'm going to get back to you tomorrow with the nitty gritty details. Thank you, girlies. And what do you say for boys instead of girlies? Thank you, girlies and fellaroos. I appreciate you being here. I'll have better updates soon. That's the video, bitches.
I said fellas, she said fellaroo.
Fellaroos, baby. Y'all, you've done it, I've done it. We've made it to the end of this video. Congratulations to us. I gotta report the outcome of this particular video. There's some good, there's some ugly, there's some in between, but here are the stats at the end. Of the 6 books, I finished 5. I feel like that's a pretty good accomplishment. I'm gonna give you all my thoughts on those 5, and the one I did not finish, I got to 75%. So that's all good and dandy. The only thing that's not super cool is when I officially logged those reviews on Goodreads and Storygraph. Again, I always link those if you want to find me. But more time has passed, so I am yet again another book behind. So I started out 9 books behind, ended up being 10 books behind, read 5. So now we're 5 books behind. Could be worse. Could be worse. Could be a lot better too. But this is just the start. If y'all want another video similar to this of me just trying to read, could be like getting up early to read or reading a certain number of pages a day, whatever y'all would like to see. But let's finish off by giving you my ratings of all the books. So the first book I finished was The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. This one ended up being a 3.25 from me. So I did not realize this because I have not read Carrie or watched Carrie or done much in that arena. This is like basically exactly Carrie, except it has the added element of race and racism. So I felt like it was an interesting twist on that, but I've never read Carrie. So I feel like some reviews I saw were not huge fans of it just being kind of almost copy-paste, with that being the only change. But I really thought the concept was interesting. From the get-go, I was captivated, I was interested in the story, and that kind of kept me going. I will say I loved the idea of the podcast element. I don't know that it added tons in the end because I just felt like the scenes they chose to give of the podcast felt a little random instead of feeling like they were coinciding with the chapters that I was reading, if that makes sense. I also felt like seeing a bunch of different perspectives and POVs kind of took away from your connection to our main character, Maddie. And I felt like at the end, it wasn't that I wasn't rooting for her, it's just I felt not as strongly for her as I wanted to, considering she was our main character. I felt like she had some heavy-handed storytelling vibes going on where like nothing was left up to the imagination. There was no room to infer anything about the story, which sometimes I don't like. I would like a little bit of ambiguity. I felt like she really was driving home her thoughts, but to the point that it kind of took away from me getting to have my own thoughts about the story. But overall, it was a well-written story. It was gripping, and I had a good time reading it, so 3.25 for this one. Next, I finished One Among Crows. I did listen to this one. It's by Veronica Roth, who did write the Divergent series, which I loved at the time when it was, poppin'. I ended up giving this one a 2.75. It was very much urban fantasy meets like kind of Polish folklore. But honestly, I think she did a disservice to this story by making it just a novella, because I felt like it could have been more fleshed out and it was such an interesting concept, but it was jammed into such a small story that I just kind of felt like I was trying to grab on and follow the leader, and I just felt like left behind a little. I also felt like our characters weren't that interesting to me, / I didn't have big feelings for them. Again, I think it's because of the length and how it lacked depth. But it was a novella, I have to keep that in mind. I just think it was an inspired idea that could have been held back for like a series of some sort. Next, I sadly and finally finished Keeping 13 by Chloe Walsh. This is the second in the series, so there's definitely more for me here, thank goodness, but this is our last book centering around Johnny and Shannon specifically. I ended up giving this one a 4.25. This is a much heavier read than the first one. I just want that to be said. It's around the same content as the first one, but it's a lot heavier. Of course, I love this cast of characters. I honestly think you'd be hard pressed to read this and not feel for your characters that you're following. They seem so real and genuine. Like, to me, this story goes on. Like, they're real people to me. I think there were only a few things that held it back from that 5 star, so I do want to share those quickly. Namely, there was a lot of sex talk in this book, and whether it was like scenes or whether it was discussion or alluded to or there was dialogue around it, I felt like it was a little too much. And I get that our characters are at an age where it's like all consuming, but I felt like there were a few things that could have been reined in and could have left some more intrigue on the table, because I just found that that element wasn't the most interesting part of the book. The next thing is that I wish we could have seen the development and growth of Shannon as she starts to heal and grow and mature. The story just really told us she was doing better instead of like us getting to be with her in that. And lastly, of course, these books are a little long and they do get repetitive. It's very slice of life, so parts of that I really enjoy, but then there are parts of that can get a little monotonous as well. Next is the graphic novel that I did not talk much about. I finished it in between some of the other ones on Sunday, just kind of trying to wrap them all up. And I really enjoyed this graphic novel. So if you're looking for something that's a little comedic, but still spooky and has really amazing artwork for this fall, I'd pick this one up. It is Spell on Wheels by Kate Leith and Megan Levins. This story was a full 4 stars for me, which honestly, with graphic novels, like for me, that's a very good rating. But this one had great artwork, great dialogue. It definitely had kind of a Scooby-Doo vibe to it as we're following these witches. And I loved that our characters had full personalities that leapt off the page and a captivating storyline. I feel like those are all the makings of a great graphic novel, and it had them. And lastly, talk about the biggest disappointment from this week, and one I've just been putting off finishing forever. Reckless by Lauren Roberts. Look, I think it's gone downhill even from the first one, and I was not a huge fan / supporter of number 1. There's a lot of filler in this book, and I found myself uninterested after their first reunion. From that point on, the book was not interesting. It was repetitive. It honestly is just a filler for her to move the plot from book 1 to book 3. And I know that there has to be some transitional pieces, but I hate that. I felt like you could not read this book and you'd be fine going into book 3, right? Nothing's changed. There's no development truly. I think my only positive is that I listened to this book, and Chase Brown is an amazing narrator, and he's probably the reason this book got 2 stars from me instead of 1. Because truly there's nothing worth reading in this book. I'm sorry to those who really enjoy it. It's not for me. It's not for me. Okay. Thank you guys. Oh my gosh. It's been a crazy week. It's been crazy keeping up with this reading schedule, but thank you for being here. I love hearing from y'all. So comment your thoughts if you've read any of these or if you want to pick them up. Subscribe, you know the drill. But it is officially that time where I love you and leave you. So I'll see you next time.